Yes.
Okay, good. So today's topic is about digital transformation, AI, and ML, and how all these things fit together. So let's hop on the journey to learn about digital transformation. So as a session outline, we'll be talking about a little bit of this stuff, talking about digital transformation, what it is, and why we talk about digital transformation, along with some trends, and then why AI and why machine learning, what it is, and in the RPA domain, why we need all these things. And most importantly, as a business analyst, why you should know about this stuff. So to start with, I have a small video. So let's go through that and then give it a start.
Another spot, a human we were meant to be free, get them up to speed, get them working fast.
Yep, so that's about where we are today. So with RPA, after so many years, after technology is evolving every day, right? So today we are in that era where automation is taking a lot more importance in almost all the industries, all the domains that we know about. And as you saw in the video, you saw so many domains like manufacturing, retail, sales, marketing, IT. Every single industry is now focusing on this automation. So that is again about digital transformation. So that's
Lahiru,
where
if
we
you
are
want
today.
to play, if you want to play the video again, it would be good.
Oh, okay. Cool.
People are liking it. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Here we go.
Another spot, a human we were meant to be free, get them up to speed, get them working fast.
Yep. So hope you like the video. Um, so as I mentioned earlier, so that's where we are today, and a lot of industries are getting onto RPA, and the focus is mostly on productivity, improving the accuracy, reliability, scalability. There are so many things that we look at today. So to get to that point, how did we got here? What are the things that happened? So let me take you several years back in history to explain that a little bit. So several years back, we were doing things manually. Even before the computers, just imagine doing things manually on piece of paper and storing those things in somewhere. So a lot of things were manual. And over time, with the introduction of different technologies, we introduced several and simple applications time to time, like Excel and operating systems like Windows and so on. Why we did that is because to improve the way we do things, to improve the efficiency and the accuracy of certain things. So as of today, what has happened is over time we have introduced so many applications. Could be desktop applications, web applications, you name it, all those things. We improved to improve the way we do things. But one thing remained the same. That is, for all these things, all these applications, we had to be there to interact with those applications. So what has happened was, over time, the productivity increased, as you see. But at some point, this went down. There's a reason for that. So let's see what happened. So over time, we have been doing so many things, repetitive things, and these applications helped us to do things faster and easier. And that included spreadsheets, Excel, ERP, all the things that we have. But as I mentioned, because always we had to be there to interact with these applications, and now there are so many applications. So still we need to do the same repetitive thing that we used to do in a different way. So that reduced the productivity, and now some processes are already too complicated. A lot of decision points and a lot of things to take care of. So the complexity has also increased, and so that's the reason for the productivity to go down. So now what has happened is, because of these reasons and the new technologies that we have today, we are slowly moving into automation. So that's where the digital transformation comes in. So let's have a look at what digital transformation is. So there's a simple definition for digital transformation. It is a process of using digital technologies to create or modify existing business process, culture, and customer experiences to meet the market requirements. So as you already know, and you got to know from the previous sessions, RPA is focused on improving the processes that we have been doing. So you may wonder why the culture is here under digital transformation. So when you talk about digital transformation, it's not just about automation. There are so many things involved in it. And it's not an easy thing to do. As you know, people would love change. Everybody will be so happy. But who wants to change? That's the question. So that's always people are always reluctant to change the way they do things because they have been doing these things, these processes for a long, long time, and they are used to it. And doing some change, and especially introducing automation, that may cause a little bit of problem because they might think that um, people, they're going to lose their jobs and things like that. So you need to have a proper strategy to introduce digital transformation to your organizations. And that's where the business analyst plays a major role, because in preparing this strategy, we need to properly identify the processes that we need to automate. And how to do that is actually identifying the proper and accurate data that we need to make certain decisions. So these things are actually done with the help of a business analyst. So that's why this step is very, very important for a business analyst and for everyone. So having this strategy and preparing the change in the mindset of people to adapt to change is another major important thing, because it's not easy. And so you basically need to say that you're not losing your jobs. You just need to focus on something new, something extra that they can do, because we are not machines. We have a lot more capability and we can do a lot more interesting things to support the organization. So upscaling and making sure you are on track is one important thing. So there are so many things like that. And another important thing is identifying the process that has to be improved. So you know about RPA, but is all the processes okay to improve or introduce RPA? Might not be the case. Processes are done manually, and these things have been there for so many years. So sometimes different people have different ways of doing the same thing. So we are not going to automate each and every method. So in such case, we need to find the best possible way to do the process and optimize the process and standardize it before introducing automation on top of that. So there are a lot of things like that to take care of during the digital transformation. So when talking about digital transformation, there are three things that we need to look at. These are three keywords. So sometimes people get confused with this. So I thought of explaining. One is digitization. So that is used to convert the manual or the things like handwritten documents into computer-friendly formats. Those things we have been doing for a long time, and even today we do it. And then comes the digitalization. That's where we use this digitized information in our software applications to make things simpler and more efficient. So these things are what we are going to automate through digital transformation. So over time, we introduce a lot of new things, a lot of technologies. And now what we are talking about is we are going to use this technology and the applications we have to find new ways of doing the manual work digitally. And that's not going to be manual, it's going to be automated. So that's where digital transformation comes in. So this is a good time actually to talk about this, because several years back when this pandemic hit us, at the time we used to do many things in our offices, right? And especially in manufacturing, supply chain, the organizations actually found or got into RPA all of a sudden to find ways of doing their things to keep things moving because people couldn't come to work because of COVID. So I know personally several scenarios like that and some case studies because I was involved in those where this is mainly in supply chain. So there were a lot of manual things that they used to do before the pandemic, and with the time within just couple of months, they just transformed everything to do with RPA. So that the people can stay at home, stay safe, and just monitor what's happening and take care of more important stuff. So there are a lot of use cases like that, especially in supply chain and also in healthcare industry, and now in most of the industries that we know. So that's where we are today. And today, when you talk about RPA, it's not just about automation. So with RPA, now we have AI as well. Because today, automation is not just doing a screen recording, not just inserting data into application. You can do a lot more things. And today, if you take RPA, there are three major components. As you see on the screen, one is document understanding, other one is conversational understanding and visual understanding. So everything that you do on RPA is somehow goes into one of these boxes or a couple of these boxes. So if you talk about visual understanding, just simple UI automation. The best example is sometime back, we used to do this UI automation with what we had, but the challenge we had is automating remote desktop applications, right? Because that was an image. But now today with the visual understanding, the AI models that run behind these things help us to automate even hardest things just easily. So the other one, conversational understanding. So today you have been, when you talk about RPA, it's not just automation again. You have the capability to interact with these robots as well. So that's where the conversational understanding comes in, where we come across chatbots and different other technologies like natural language processing and so on. So that's conversational. And the other thing is document processing. As you know, documents play a major role in most of the processes and in most of the organizations. So properly understanding what's there on these documents, it's not easy. You know that documents comes in various different formats. Think about invoices, simple documents that we all know. So those things have different layouts. Those things can be handwritten, scanned documents. So all these things are done by AI today. So everything we do today is actually a combination of RPA and AI. It's working together to help us do these things. Yeah, so let's see what makes AI and RPA work together. So as you know, RPA is focused on several key things. When you're automating a process, we look at few things like high volume processes, labor intensive processes, low exception rates, readable electronic inputs, and rule-based repetitive activities, and processing structured or semi-structured or even unstructured data. So that's the task of RPA. But what is AI? AI is actually a technology that can simulate human intelligence on machines. This is a very interesting topic because today we talk about so many AI related use cases. So I'll give you some examples after explaining these things. And what makes AI better? It's about training. So even for a human being, just like you and me, for us to do something in a better way, we need to learn. We need to figure out what's the best way to do certain things, what are the different variations of doing things. And that experience is what makes us better. So likewise, even AI needs to learn. So this learning can be done in different ways, and today's technology and the different platforms we have has made it so much easier for us, even for a non-technical person, to use simple AI models. So the goal of AI is, one thing is learning, other one is reasoning and perception. Reasoning is actually used to predict certain things and decide why it needs to go do something like that. So there are some nice use cases that I have been involved in last couple of months. So I'll get to that. And with AI, what are the common actions? So one thing is natural language processing, machine learning, chatbots. These are the usual things that we hear. But what's the use of these things? So I'll tell you some examples. There's one example or a use case that I worked about 2 months back. This is for one of our clients. What had to be done is they were getting so many Excel files. These are sort of invoices, but not financial invoices that we have seen. This is a different kind of invoice that they usually get. And sometimes they get so many Excel files with so many records, like 10,000, 20,000, and sometimes it can range up to 100,000. So this thing had several columns, and there was one column that they need to check based on the values that are there on the other columns to check whether it's correctly mentioned or not. If it's not correctly mentioned, they had to do certain things to inform certain people, try to fix it, and likewise. And if it's correct, they had to do something else. So I'm not going to go into that detail. So there was several people sitting every day going through these files. Just imagine going through 100,000 rows, trying to figure out whether it's correct or not. So what we did is we used UiPath on this, and we introduced an AI model that can actually predict whether that's correct or wrong. And the model that we created is so accurate, it can accurate and also efficient. It can just predict. So the maximum file that we tested was for 100,000 rows. The model we created, it predicted all 100,000 rows, the values accurately, just within 1 minute. Just imagine the power of that AI. So the guy who was sitting doing these things for weeks, he has so much time now to figure out more additional things and provide more value to the organization. That's one use case. Another one is, this is about natural language processing. And this is also around UiPath. So several months back, we created a small app on UiPath apps. And this is also for our client. So what they wanted to do is they wanted to get some dashboards. But the interesting thing is they didn't want to type anything. They wanted based on voice. So if someone talks to the application, it just needs to figure out what he's talking and get the required output and show it on the dashboard to take care of his things. So we introduced natural language processing and natural language understanding to convert the speech to text, and sometimes this text to speech as well to narrate certain things. Uh, so there are so many interesting use cases that we have been working on. And another one is chatbots. You already know this is a very interesting topic when it comes to chatbots. And chatbots can work in different ways, like you can type or you can even speak. Yeah, I have another interesting use case which I'm working right now. So why I'm talking about these use cases is actually to tell you that this is where we are heading. And that's why it's important to learn about AI, even as a business analyst, you should know. And this use case is around document understanding. This is again for another client which we are developing. They have so many different document types. They have like 150 or 60 document types that they need to process. And these documents are very, very huge. You get documents with 300 to 400 pages. And in that document, you have all these types. And someone has to sit there, try to figure out what page belongs to what category and split it and put it into a different file and do all this stuff manually. And later upload each and every files individually to a different state application. So that's so boring. So with the document understanding capabilities, we have introduced AI to classify these big documents into all those categories and even extract data from different document types and to do the upload. So it has been very easy now. So it's still in progress. We are doing certain things. So actually, this is where we are going to be in near future, and we are already working on certain things like that. And there are so many use cases that are very, very interesting around AI. So that's why it is important. So let's talk about few trends here. Yeah. So as I explained, AI today is having a very high demand, just like RPA. So as you see here on this chart, these things are mainly used for decision support, agents, and things like that. So you can see how the demand is. And if you look at the budget that companies allocate for these AI related stuff, it's going to be very huge. And now let's look at some RPA trends. So I took this from the State of RPA Developer published by UiPath this year. So as you see, and as you saw in the video, now actually a lot of industries are getting into RPA, especially finance and technology, even insurance. So, and all these use cases are mostly around AI. They somehow or the other use AI to automate certain things. And just by seeing this insurance use case, I just remember another very interesting use case. This is not something that we did, but this is something I heard from a friend. There was an insurance company, there is, and they are into motor vehicle insurance. So when an accident happened, you just need to submit some photos of the vehicle, the damage and everything to get an estimate, right? So what they did is, with all the samples they have, they created an AI model. And once you submit the images, no matter how bad the damage is, this model can understand what kind of a vehicle that is, what part of the vehicle got damaged, and what's the extent of the damage, and give a estimate. So that's already live and they are using it. So you can see how interesting things are. And today, for freshers and for the newcomers to RPA industry, even universities are teaching RPA today. It's because of this demand, and yeah, getting into RPA so fast in so many different ways. So that's the current trend of AI and RPA. So you can see how these things actually work together with this digital transformation that we are talking about. It's, as I always said, it's not just automating. You're introducing different AI capabilities to even do certain decision making, to make things better and make things easier for the users. The reason is so that they can focus on more interesting stuff, because you can train AI models, but the experience that a person has, the number of years of experience on certain things, that is more valuable and they can make use of it. So why do repetitive things? So thinking of that, I also have another interesting video. This is about a chatbot that Google developed. And let's have a look.
The progress with the assistant. As I said earlier, our vision for our assistant is to help you get things done. It turns out a big part of getting things done is making a phone call. You may want to get an oil change schedule, maybe call a plumber in the middle of the week, or even schedule a haircut appointment. You know, we are working hard to help users through those moments. We want to connect users to businesses in a good way. Businesses actually rely a lot on this, but even in the US, 60% of small businesses don't have an online booking system set up. We think AI can help with this problem. So let's go back to this example. Let's say you want to ask Google to make you a haircut appointment on Tuesday between 10 and noon. What happens is the Google Assistant makes the call seamlessly in the background for you. So what you're going to hear is the Google Assistant actually calling a real salon to schedule the appointment for you. Let's listen.
So how can I help you? Hi, I'm calling to book a women's haircut for a client. I'm looking for something on May 3rd. Sure, give me 1 second. Sure, what time are you looking for around? At 12 p.m. We do not have a 12 p.m. available. The closest we have to that is a 1:15. Do you have anything between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m.? Depending on what service she would like. What service is she looking for? Just a woman's haircut for now. Okay, we have a 10 o'clock. 10 a.m. is fine. Okay, what's her first name? The first name is Lisa. Okay, perfect. So I will see Lisa at 10 o'clock on May 3rd. Okay, great. Thanks. Great. Have a great day. Bye.
That was a real call you just heard. The amazing thing is the assistant can actually understand the nuances of conversation. We've been working on this technology for many years. It's called Google Duplex. It brings together all our investments over the years in natural language understanding, deep learning, text-to-speech. By the way, when we are done, the assistant can give you a confirmation notification saying your appointment has been taken care of. Let me give you another example. Let's say you want to call a restaurant, but maybe it's a small restaurant which is not easily available to book online. The call actually goes a bit differently than expected. So take a listen.
See how may I hear you?
Hi, I'd like to reserve a table for Wednesday the 7th.
For 7 people?
It's for 4 people.
4 people when?
Next Wednesday at 6 p.m.
Oh, actually we reserve for like upper like 5 people. For 4 people you can come.
How long is the wait usually to be seated?
When tomorrow or weekday or?
For next Wednesday, the 7th.
Oh no, it's not too busy. You can come for 4 people, okay?
Oh, I gotcha. Thanks.
Bye bye.
The progress with
Yeah, so that's another interesting video that I found and thought of sharing. So now we have talked about so many things about AI, machine learning. So why you should know about these things? It's because AI, machine learning, and these chatbots, these things are playing a major role today, as I explained earlier. And people are moving into these solutions day by day. So as a business analyst, we are usually getting in touch with the business to understand the key requirements and how we should provide them the solution, how we can convert their manual process into an automated process. So to do that, you need to know about these trends, what's happening, and especially around AI, machine learning, and how RPA works with these technologies. Because it's now, as I mentioned, it's combination of all these technologies. And knowing that is actually important for you to give the best possible solution for them and see if you need to improve their process or standardize their process, how you can do that to best fit these technologies to help them automate it. And the other thing is you can also make use of this technology to improve even what you do. Like if you're into very complex processors, trying to understand, to gather the requirements, instead of doing it manually, you can make use of this technology, AI, to help you do certain things for you. And that's why it is very important to learn about it. So maybe you have seen this image earlier. So these are the 5 stages in the RPA in high level: discover, build, manage, run, engage, and measure. So in discovery phase is where a business analyst is mainly and majorly involved. It's one stage to properly identify the processes that we can automate, how we can automate, how we can improve the process, and how to do certain things. So you may be using some of these tools even as of now, but if you're not using these tools that you see here, task capture, task mining, process mining, these things are actually powered by AI to help you to understand your process. So just a glimpse about task mining. It helps you to go through large processors. You can just do a recording and give that to the AI model so that it can predict what's the best part that we can automate and how we can, it can even generate a document for you, the PDD. But now don't think that it's going to replace your job. It's not like that. It's just there to support what you do and to improve the way you do it. But still, you're the expert, you're the BA, and that experience, you still need it to help the organization to do certain things with the help of these AI models to better identify their processes and find better ways of automating things. And in build, you have different ways of introducing AI, as I mentioned in some of those use cases, and even in measuring stage at the end to monitor your robot's performance, how good it is in terms of ROI, and keep track of how things are going in your digital transformation journey. The data that you get through these robots can be fed into an AI model that can predict how things are going to be in the next couple of weeks or months and so on. So you can see we can use AI in each and every stage. So that's how important it is, even for a business analyst. So you know already in which stages that you're involved in an RPA journey, and just think about how these things can help you do things, and how and why you know this, because you also need to give certain suggestions to people in the organization about how to do certain things. So it's very important to know about this stuff. So lastly, how to learn. So sometimes we might not come from a technical background, and we might come from different other backgrounds like finance and so on. So it's not always the same. So for the guys who are interested in technical stuff, if they like to create their own AI models, the best option is you need to learn Python to create your own models. It's a very good language, and there are so many resources online that you can make use of and learn how to build certain things. On the other side, if you're not really into that, today there are platforms that can help us to use the existing models. We just need to train, especially UiPath AI Center. So if you explore that, there are so many models that you can use for document processing, for different other stuff, natural language processing, classifying certain things, email classification, for example. There are so many models that can help you do certain things, and it's very easy. It's not difficult. All you need to do is just understand how to train the model, and the rest, it will do that for you. So the important thing is training. So how to train it? It depends for the model. It varies from model to model. So there are a lot of resources again online, even in UiPath Academy, where you can go through some of these things and see. And if you take the community, there are so many guys who do videos on this stuff. There are so many YouTube channels that you can have a look at. So make sure you spend some time on these things to learn about it, explore, always keep exploring. And that will help you understand. So why I say that is, it's not difficult, because if you learn the basic thing, you can apply that to anywhere or any project that you are working on. So that's how easy it is. So it's not difficult. So basically, with that brings to an end of my session. And yeah, lastly, thank you for listening, and thank you for your time today. I hope this was interesting and helpful. Thank you very much, and have a great weekend.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lahiru, for the wonderful session. I hope, and the videos was just quite interesting. Which, I mean, it was a live examples you have showcased, and to understand it's clear better. So it was really good, awesome. So let's wait for 2 more minutes, and we will end this session. We will not take your weekend time, so we will complete our quiz part. So it will be very, very interesting. So it will be from the session only. So just wait with me. So yeah, before that, if anybody want to see the video again from Lahiru played, he will play it again once. If you want the Google video or the Excel digital transformation video message, then in between we can see. Okay, so let me share. Let me see the Mentimeter part before you jump. Don't drop off, guys. We have quiz, so don't forget. Okay, I hope everybody joined the Menti. I don't want to waste more time. So let's enter in the first question. So out of the following, what are the some of the common actions of AI? So you have 4 options. Out of the following, what are the some of the common actions of AI? You have 4 options and you have 10 more seconds. I hope everybody will give the correct answer. Okay, time's up. Okay, most of you given the correct answer. Okay, let's see the next question. So the next question will be, which comes under digital transformation? I hope Lahiru covered everything. So you have, oh, for this question, you have more options. So which comes under digital transformation? So you have like more options. I hope everybody gave the right answer. Okay, that's great. That's great. Thank you. So we'll see the leaderboard. The leaderboard is okay. Hearty congratulations, Santosh Reddy and Preeti Kini. So please drop me an email with your address.